When it comes to structure of mitochondria, you need to remember that there are two membranes. You can watch those membranes here. Can you see their outer membrane and inner membrane?
Yes, sir.
So you have got two membranes, out of which one membrane is outside. So here it is called as the outer membrane. Another membrane is inside. So it will be called as the inner membrane. Is it comfortable?
Yes, sir.
So there are two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane. Outer membrane is not folded, but if you look at inner membrane carefully, you'll see that it is folded into some finger-like projections. So you can watch this. Look at this. Can you see finger-like projection?
Yes,
so inner membrane is folded into some finger-like projections called as. What's the name of this finger-like projection? Can you read here?
Christ.
Yes,
Christ.
Christ. Exactly. So it has got a finger-like structure called as a cristae. This is important word for your competitive examination also. So it has got outer membrane, it has got inner membrane. The whole shape of mitochondria, when you see, it will look like. How is the shape looking like? Can you tell me?
Beans.
No, it is looking like a sole of shoe. How is it looking? It's looking like sole of shoe. Is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you can remember this shape. It is looking like sole of shoe. Correct? Hai? Now coming to the next characteristic features. Between these two membranes, that is outer membrane and the inner membrane, we can also see a space. Can you see this space?
Yes, sir.
This space is called as a inner membranous space. The space present between these two membranes is known as a inner membranous space, or intermembranous space can also be another name for the same. Clear? Can be called as an intermembranous space. Now let's proceed with what other details. Now you can carefully see that the every crista or that finger-like structure is now surrounded by small hair-like structures. Can you see these? Yes, bacha. The magnified part of the same is shown here, which you can watch this. What is the name of that? You can see there are two labels, but you can remember only one label, that is they have mentioned F0 portion and F1 portion. You can remember only F1. F1 particle also. You can call it as a F1 particle. Am I right? So every crista is surrounded by many hair-like structures or hair-like particles. Those hair-like particles are called as a F1 particle. What is the name I said? That every hair-like structure can be called as a F1 particle. Now this F1 particle is also known by different names like oxysomes, but you don't have to remember all these names. And this F1 particle has got now one enzyme inside that. If you look at the enzyme which is present, it is mentioned here. You can watch here the name of enzyme, ATPase. Can you see this, bacha?
Yes,
name of the ATPase. And what should be the function of this ATPase now? So this ATPase will be responsible for synthesis of ATP. What this ATPase will do? ATPase enzyme will be responsible for synthesis of ATP, and that's the reason why we call this mitochondria as a powerhouse of cell. Am I right? You understanding?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When 1 mole of a glucose is broken down, about 38 ADP molecules are formed. When one glucose breaks, it produces approximately 38 ATPs, out of which almost 34 ATPs are generated with the help of this mitochondria. And rest ATPs are produced inside the cytoplasm. And hence we call it as a powerhouse of the cell. So maximum ATPs are produced inside this mitochondria, and that's the reason why we call it as powerhouse of cell. Am I clear? Are you confident?
Yes, sir.
Now, another important thing about this mitochondria you must remember is that this mitochondria also contains some gel-like substance. When we watch inside the center, what do you find there? What we get there is a gel-like substance. Can you locate that? Can you watch it here? This label
Matrix.
now. Yes. So inside the mitochondria, there is a gel-like substance which is called as a matrix. And this matrix is rich in. What is there inside this matrix? Is it contains enzymes which are required for ATP synthesis. Already we know that. In addition to that, it also contains mitochondria and ribosome. So look at this. You can see this this DNA. It has got a DNA and it has got a ribosomes. Can you see here, bacha?
Yes, sir.
It has got DNA, it has got ribosomes. And as it has got a DNA inside, with the help of that DNA, it can produce similar copies of it. Okay, so that is why it is called as autonomously replicating. Yeah, autonomous cell organelle.
What is the meaning of autonomous?
Autonomous means the one which can produce new copy of it. So mitochondria can produce new copy of mitochondria because it has got a DNA. Very few cell organelles have got a DNA. So mitochondria is there, chloroplast is there. So they can produce new copies of them. Am I clear, bacha?
Yes, sir.
This is a very important thing you need to remember. Even it has got a ribosomes, and wherever ribosomes are there, what should be the function of ribosomes? Tell me. Whenever
Synthesis
we
of proteins.
yes, it will be responsible for synthesis of proteins. It will be responsible for formation of proteins. Any doubt about this? Comfortable?
No, sir. Yes, sir. Comfortable.
All right, bacha. So that was all about mitochondria, the powerhouse of cell. Now we will proceed with the next cell organelle. Now tell me, which is going to be the cell organelle? Yes,
Plastids.
exactly. So now we will talk about plastids. Okay. So here we go with the plastids. I hope you are writing all this in your notebook, huh?
Yes, sir. I'm writing it.
Okay. So whenever we say plastids, are the cell organelles which will be present only in the plant cell. Remember this. Found in plant cells and not found in animal cells. Understood this? Those cell organelles which are found only in the plant cells but not found in the animal cells are called as what? They are called as plastids. Fine. Now, again, these plastids are of different types. Like when you say plastids, we must remember their types. Have you heard any type? Any idea about any type? कभी सुना है कोई type आपने?
No, sir. I've just learned that cell contains plastids and a little.
No problem. I'll tell you now. So plastids include three types. Number one, it is called as leucoplasts. Copy down this, huh? Leucoplasts. What do you mean by this, or what are these plastids? So leucoplasts are those plastids which are colorless. What did I say? They are colorless plastids. And basically they are involved in storage of food. So what they do is they help to store the food. Okay. In the form of what? Food in the form of carbohydrates, fats, or protein. The main kinds of the foods they store are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And therefore, now they can be classified into three types. Now, what are those three types? Number one, they are called as Amyloplasts. Read the name. What is that?
Amyloplasts.
Amylase. You must have heard the name of the enzyme, amylase. सुना है आपने amylase नाम? Salivary amylase.
Yeah,
It is
sir.
an enzyme
Yeah.
that breaks carbohydrates like a starch. So this will store food in the form of carbohydrates. What it will store? It will store the food in the carbohydrates like starch. You can remember. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
I'm clear. Okay, now comes type number 2. Type number 2 is those leucoplasts which store the food in the form of fats. Okay, they are called as elaioplasts. Those plastids which store food in the form of fats or lipids. Have you heard the name fats? All oily substances. हमने oily substances के बारे में सुना है. So those plastids which store food in the form of fats or lipids, they are referred as elaioplasts. I hope now it is clear to you.
So
Comfortable?
what is it sounds? Elaioplast.
Elaioplasts. And the last type of the plastids which store food in the form of proteins. They can be called as aleuroplasts. So remember this name again. Aleuro is for proteins. Am I clear? The third
Yes,
type of the stores food in the form of proteins is called as a aleuroplast. So you need to remember this. It is very important. Now we have got type number 2 of the plastids. So second type of the plastids now we call as chromoplasts. Chromoplasts. This is the second type of the plastids. Now when you say chromo, that is actually color. So these are colored plastids. They have got a color. These are colored plastids and they give color to the plants or parts of the plants other than green color. So remember that these chromoplasts are the plastids which give color to the parts of the plants other than green color. Other than green color means yellow color, orange color, red color. All those colors are given by the same. So colored plastids, and what they do, I said, what's their function? I said they give color. Color to whom?
plants. Or these.
Colored parts of plants. Like what? Parts of plants. Like you can say seeds, color of fruits. Okay, color of other than green color, I said. So color of seeds, color of flowers we can add. So color of flowers is also because of this. Understood this? You know the interesting example I'll tell you, when chilies, they are unripened, they are green in color. This green color is because of chlorophyll pigments. But later on, when they ripen, their color changes from that green color to red color. So this change in color is actually because of breakdown of that chlorophyll pigments. Okay, and that chlorophyll pigments will be changed, or that color will be changed to red color. Even yellow colored chilies we can see it is because of some pigments which are present, called as a xanthophyll, called as a carotene. So some pigments are there which give color to the parts of the plants other than green color. I hope you are confident with this. Okay, bacha?
Yeah, sir.
Now we are proceeding with the third type of the plastids. What should be the name of the third type of the plastid? Any idea?
Chloroplasts.
Yeah, now it is there in your text. You can see the third type of the plastid we will be learning is this.
I have heard of chloroplasts. It gives green colors only to plants.
Very exactly.
I've heard of it.
So green colored parts of the plants are because of these plastids. In fact, every plant cell has got a chloroplast, but more chloroplasts are present in the leaves. So leaves look green in color. You got it? Understood, bacha?
Yes,
So these
sir.
are green colored plastids. And their main function is, what should be the main function of these? Is obviously they are responsible for, what should be the, come on, tell.
Photosynthesis. Functioning of photosynthesis.
Exactly. So they are responsible for photosynthesis. This is very, very important. All right. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now we are going to discuss little bit in detail about the structure of this chloroplast. So are you ready? Yes, bacha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let us see the structure of chloroplast. Here it is. Watch there on your screen. Here is the chloroplast. So chloroplasts are oval in shape or they are elliptical in shape. First of all, how is the shape of these chloroplasts? They are oval in shape. Next thing you can tell is that these chloroplasts also have got two membranes, outer membrane and the inner membrane. So they are membrane bound cell organelles found in eukaryotic cell, not found in prokaryotic cell. All right, you are understanding? So here it has got outer membrane, which is out. There will also be inner membrane, which will be in. Again, between these two membranes, there is a space. Here they have not labeled, but there is again a space which will be called as a perimembranous space or can also be called as an inner membranous space. Are you understanding? There is a space between these two membranes, that is perimembranous space or inner membranous space, filled with the fluid, perimembranous fluid or inner membranous fluid. Now inside that, we will see again a gel-like substance here. Can you see the name? What should be the label?
Yes, sir. Stroma. Stroma.
Exactly. So like mitochondria had a matrix, chloroplast has got a stroma. So again, a gel-like substance which is present inside this is known as a stroma. All right. Now inside this stroma, again, there are some enzymes present which help in photosynthesis. As well as you can also see here, there are many coin-like structures which are arranged in a bundle. Look at this whole thing. So there is a bundle of coin-like structures. And single coin-like structure out of this is referred as a thylakoid. Single coin-like structure is called thylakoid. And the whole bundle is called as a granum. I hope you're understanding. Singular number granum, plural number grana. All right. This much is clear. Fine. Now
Yes, sir.
inside these thylakoids, there are chlorophyll pigments. So here you will find chlorophyll pigments inside this. You getting me what I'm saying? Inside these thylakoids only, we come across chlorophyll pigments. These dots which I have shown here, they will be called as what?
Chlorophyll pigments.
Exactly, chlorophyll pigments, which are basically responsible for trapping of sunlight. So what these chlorophyll pigments do? They trap the sunlight, and that sunlight is then converted into ATP, that is chemical energy. You getting me, bacha, what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So when you say photosynthesis, that involves two main steps. That is, one step is called as a light reaction. One step is called as a light reaction. What do you mean by light reaction? That is what just I told you. Conversion of. Whose Light
ATP.
energy. conversion of light energy into chemical energy. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So the first step in photosynthesis is always conversion of light energy into chemical energy. This is called as the light reaction. It occurs in grana. What is the site of this light reaction? Grana. And the next step involved in the photosynthesis is called as dark reaction, which does not require light, or it is independent of light, called as a dark reaction, and it occurs inside stroma. Remember that. It occurs inside stroma. Stroma is that gel-like substance.
Yeah.
And what happens there is conversion of carbon dioxide, which is used during photosynthesis, into glucose, or you call it as a food. Did you understand, bacha? Tell me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Photosynthesis, it will involve two main steps, that is dark reaction and the light reaction. Light reaction involves what? Conversion of light energy into chemical energy, or there is production of ATP. And using the same ATP, conversion of carbon dioxide is done into carbohydrates or a glucose. This takes place in this stroma. The process is called as a dark reaction. What is the process called as?
Dark reaction.
So this is what about the chloroplast you must remember. Any doubt about this? Tell me.
No, sir, no doubt.
Better. So you will learn that in your 11th standard or next class or higher class in more detail. Fine. Now you tell me the next cell organelle. So which is the cell organelle left now?
Vacuole. Last vacuole.
Exactly. So we'll do that now, vacuoles. So ready for it?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about vacuoles now. So whenever I say vacuole, immediately that image should strike our mind. Plant cell vacuoles or animal cell vacuoles. So what are vacuoles actually? Vacuoles are nothing but what? Hollow bodies or hollow cell organelles. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Hollow structures which are present inside both cells, plants as well as animals. When you say prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell, what you can tell is that prokaryotic cells do not have true vacuoles. They lack true vacuoles. All right?
Yes, sir.
They do not have true vacuoles. But when it comes to eukaryotic cells, they have these vacuoles. And again, in eukaryotic cell, when you talk about plant cell, animal cell, you should know the difference. So what's the difference between vacuoles in the plant cell and animal cell? Come on, bacha. Imagine those diagrams.
In plant cell, the vacuole is very big, and in animal cell, the vacuole is small, or they don't have vacuoles.
You're right. So they are large in size in plants, less in number. As they are large in size, they are less in number, as well as they are permanent. Are you understanding? Vacuoles in the plant cells are large in size, they are less in number, and they are permanent. Okay. When you talk about animals, animal vacuoles in the animals, it will be
small in size and more in number.
Small in size, very good. Then they will be more in number. As they are small in size, they will be more in number. And will they be temporary or permanent?
Temporary.
Exactly. So they are temporary. Clear hai? Now
Yes,
in animals, Now in animal cells, there may be some specialized vacuoles again. Like if you remember amoeba, when you talk about amoeba has got special vacuoles like contractile vacuole. Have you heard the name? Amoeba has
No,
a
sir.
special called as a contractile vacuole. Now, if you look at image of the amoeba, you will get to know that. You will see that it has got a contractile vacuole. Like if I show you a rough diagram of
Sir,
the
it
amoeba.
is showing. So it is showing that less than 1 minute is left.
Yeah. You can join again, not an issue.
Okay,
Look
sir.
at this shape of the amoeba. Okay, now here in amoeba, it has got different vacuoles. For example, this is one vacuole. This will be responsible for receiving the excess water from the body, because amoeba lives in the water. So excess water is collected by this amoeba and then it is thrown out of the body. If it will not do this, it will die. So this